gang, how's it going? I thought I would do a 10 random facts about me video inspired by the wonderful Victoria Denelda. I will link her down below so you can see why she's so awesome. So anyways, let's go. I got my little list here. The first one is I lived 19 years of my life in Arizona and not once saw the Grand Canyon or Sedona, but I went to Tombstone a couple times. The other thing is my best friend Sarah. So I met her in the 8th grade. She moved from California to Arizona. She and I became really fast best friends, and I felt like we were inseparable. At least I felt like we just had a connection that I never had with anyone else. We got each other. Even though we were like two completely different people, there was something about our connection that was real. And then after 8th grade, she moved back to California and we kept in touch throughout high school. She would send me letters, I would send her letters and photos and that kind of stuff. And then she got married and then I got married and we kind of went our own way. There was, nothing wrong, kind of just our, connection kind of fizzled out. And then there was one day I went to, I can't remember what exactly it was, what activity or meeting it was, but her uncle was there. And I see her uncle and I'm like, oh my goodness, how is Sarah doing? And he goes, she's good, she's good. Would you like her contact information? And I was like, yes. And I believe that was like, what, 11 years ago? I'll have to have her correct me if I am wrong. And we have been in touch ever since. Since Sarah, every time I called a girl or a woman my best friend, the relationship would like fizzle out. It wouldn't like be some tumultuous end, but it was almost as though like karma made sure that like there would be no one who replaced Sarah. And so I never call any of my girlfriends my best friends. I call them instead my favorites because girls, I love you so much that I will not call you my best friend. I want us to stay in a good relationship. Another random thing about me is that I had a boyfriend back in 6th grade. Boyfriend, like maybe we held hands, never kissed him, but like we liked each other and it was known among the school that like I liked him, he liked me. And I had one girlfriend who shall remain nameless just on the off chance that she happens to hop onto my channel, who said to me, I can't believe you got a boyfriend before me. And fast forward about 7 years, and at my wedding reception, she gives me a hug and says in my ear, I can't believe you got married before me. And what do you say to something like that? Speaking of boyfriends, my first official boyfriend was not until college. So for all of you guys who are in high school or even in college and you sit here and go, why don't I have a significant other? Why don't I have a boyfriend and girlfriend? I did not have an official boyfriend until college. My first kiss was when I was a senior in high school, and it was with my best guy friend because I had no experience and he had a lot of experience. And so I guess I figured he was the best one, because I guess I figured if we were both hadn't kissed before, it would be maybe a potential like disaster, but since he was experienced and I was not, that anyways. Every day I wear makeup and I do my hair. It is something that makes me happy. I have friends and family who say, why do you do your hair and makeup every day, even on days that you don't go out? And that is because it just makes me happy and it gives me that like boost to go throughout the rest of my day. I feel like I can take on the world when I've got a face on, I guess. But when I feel pretty and when I like what I see in the mirror, I tend to feel more positive for the rest of the day and get more things done. When I talk to women and I try to empower other women, I talk about those little things that make you happy, because many times we go through these ruts in our lives and we're just like, and we feel like we can't seem to get out of it at all, and like there's nothing that we can do that can get us out of it. We're kind of just stuck in it. And so I talk about the little things that make you happy. If it makes you happy to sit in a corner for a little while and eat a whole pint of ice cream, if that gives you a little bit of happiness, go do that. I can read people's energies. Not all the time, I'm not like that good, and I can tell when someone's upset. I can tell when someone's happy. I can tell when someone's smiling through a sadness. But I think a lot of people can do that too. This is a weird quirk that I do. I love going on walks, and sometimes I'll have my earbuds in, or I'll do these prayer walks where I'm like, okay, let's reassess. I talk to to God and I'm like, let's talk about some things and let's figure some things out. But I always end up crossing this finger over this finger. And sometimes the same here. And it's just, I don't know why. It's just how it is. So I'll walk and I cross. And I used to like stop myself from doing that because I'm like, that's weird. Now I don't care. I just walk and cross my finger. I complained religiously about 3 things growing up. And my mom is incredible and inspired. But the 3 things that I complained about was the fact that I never looked my age. My lips I felt were too big, and I felt my booty was too big. I have a sister who is 2 years younger than me, and everyone always thought she was the older sister. I remember too being in college and at work, and a customer comes in and I am talking with her, and I told her that I was engaged, and she flew off the handle. She's like, what is it with you young generation? You guys are getting married all early, and you don't even know what you're doing with your life. You don't even know what you're gonna do for college. You're so young, and you have your whole life ahead of you. And I got this thought that said, she thinks you're much younger than you are. And I said, ma'am, I'm 19. And she goes, oh, sweetie, I thought you were 16. Even though like 16 and 19, there's pretty close to the age. And yeah, 19 was a young age to get married. I understand that too. I can see what she's saying. So when I would complain about how I never looked old enough and how I always wished myself to be older and to look older, she said, honey, when you are 30, everyone will think you're 20. And sure enough, everyone thinks I'm younger than I am, and I am not complaining. So the other thing that I hated was the fact that I had full lips. And I had a girlfriend in middle school who was gorgeous. She did all the beauty pageants and stuff, and she had pencil thin lips. I used to wish my lips away. I wanted my lips to be thin and beautiful like hers. And my mom said, honey, do you not know that people get like surgery to make their lips look bigger? Now people get lip injections, and the same thing with my booty. I hated the fact that I had a booty. I did not want a booty at all. I remember being a junior and 2 senior boys in my art class would call me Bubble Butt and Bubblicious. And this was of course right as I was getting out of my anorexia phase and my body dysmorphia phase. And these boys are claiming that a part of my body is large. And my mom said, honey, don't you know that there is underwear being made out there that has padding in it to give women a booty? I found out later that senior boy actually said that calling me Bubble Butt was him complimenting me because he had a crush on me. So there's that. Weird. I found that my mom was correct in all of those things. And of course, whether or not it's trendy to look young for my age and to have fuller lips and to have a little bit of a booty, I had to learn to love myself as I was. And I found love for myself before I realized the trend of these things. And I think that's what's most important, is just learning to love yourself first. It doesn't matter what's trending and what's not trending. It's all about you being able to look at yourself in the mirror and go, hey, you know what? I like who I am, and it doesn't matter what the world thinks. And that's empowering. I absolutely love paint swatches, and I love walls of paint swatches. To me, it's like Christmas light. I can stand there for hours and just stare. I have heard from one source, I don't know how true this is, that colors give off energy. And so maybe it's just me being in this like vortex of energy. But like, I am so captivated every time I stand in front of a wall of paint swatches. It's kind of like when you go outside to like grab the mail and you see this like breathtaking sunset. And it's like all the colors, the gradation from blue to pink to orange to yellow, and then the sun rays come out from the horizon, and it's just like, oh, and you just stop and stare for a little while. That's how I feel when I'm walking down Home Depot and I see paint swatches. I'm like, ooh. I have 2 paint swatch books, and I will just sit there and go, I have yet to find someone who has this same love for colors. I'm sure artists do. I really wonder if I'm the only one out there who could stop and stare at paint swatches for hours. The last little random fact about me is my astrological sign, and that is I am an Aries. And I grew up really not liking what Aries were or what they represented. I had always heard the negative stuff. It was like, oh, here are all these astrological signs, and then there's Aries. I always liked that like Aries was on the top of the horoscope, so I was like, yeah, because we're super cool. But then it's like, maybe we just demanded to be up there at the top. So I ignored much of the stuff about Aries because everything I would hear would be negative, and I didn't like knowing that I was anything negative. I already had like my own personal battles within me that I did not like of myself. So I didn't want an outside source telling me already that I was terrible. You know, and I would hear stories about how, oh, I just broke up with my boyfriend. Pfft, can't believe I was with that Aries for that long, you know, and I'm like, oh geez. And then people will post things, like they divide us up into groups. The ones that you can be best friends with and the ones that like you should keep away, and it's like Aries, like don't be close to any of the Aries. And I'm like, this stinks. But I always thought that the horoscopes must be wrong because I'm an Aries and I try not to be any of these negative things, but then I saw it from a more positive perspective. And even this morning I was watching this video about characteristics of the female Aries. I really enjoyed it. It was this little 3-minute clip and I was like, yes, this is exactly what I am, and it's very positive, all these positive things. And I realized that all astrological signs have positive and negative. It just seems like it's by default the Aries get more negative. So that is it. Those are the 10 random facts about me. If you would like to see more 10 random facts videos about me, let me know down below or give this video a like. If you want to keep following me, please subscribe. All my social media links are down below, but most importantly, y'all have a good day. I'll catch you on the flip. Bye.